Trump is a real estate guy, business guy, obviously. Is he sort of making the bet that, like, okay, you're a person who makes 50 grand a year and you owe $10 million and you are never paying that back. It's never going to happen in a million years. It's just, you're really functionally already bankrupt. And so the only thing to do is to borrow another 10 million and put it all on black and just hope that you can do that.
That's a great question. And he actually addressed this in the Q&A afterward, where the moderator asked him, how do you keep the growth going? Because you've got the American economy growing. How do you keep it growing? Are you concerned about America's debt? So first of all, maturity, average maturity, turnover on debt, little under 6 years. Average interest, slightly over 3%. Annual interest paid out, almost $1 trillion. Okay, what would need to happen to grow our way out of the debt? Because that was Trump's answer. Trump's answer was, look, the economy is going to be growing so fast that the $40 trillion in debt isn't going to matter, because we're going to grow so fast that it's not going to matter. I actually have done some more recent calculations on this, kind of looking at how fast would it have to grow. The debt, because of the accumulating interest and just the sheer amount, and we're not even talking about unfunded liabilities. Let's just stick with what they've already borrowed and are on the hook for. That's growing by over 6% per year. Okay, and that's actually going to accelerate as budget deficits continue. Now, we're averaging over the last several years right around 3%. This year, it's going to come in probably under 2%. But as you can see, if the debt is growing 6%, compounding annually, and we're only growing 3% good year, it's fine to bet that you're going to grow your way out. But that was the promise that Reagan made. That was the promise that Bush made. That was the promise that Obama and Trump made. The only two presidents who didn't promise that were H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton, who I don't like either of those guys, but they worked with their congressional opposition to create a balanced budget ultimately. And we were on track. Clinton left office with budget surpluses, and we were on pace to have the debt paid off by the end of the first decade of the 2000s. Now, that wouldn't have solved all the problems, because, of course, we had all these unfunded entitlements staring down the barrel in the future. But I look at that and say, wow, we're in huge trouble. I mean, without serious inflation, here's the most realistic way for the national debt to get paid off. We need about 4% GDP growth every year. We need sustained budget surpluses. They don't need to be huge, but we can't run any more deficits. And we need inflation to run at about 5% a year for about the next 15 years. That's just not politically possible to do.